What's going on, NavalX community? Mohawk Matt once again. You know, I like to bring people who are across the Department of the Navy so you can learn from them and learn what it is the Navy really does and how all the moving pieces work together. And today I've actually got Mr. Bill Bray, who is the DASN RDT&E, which is Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Research, Development, Test, and Evaluation. It's a mouthful, I know.
For me, within DASN RDT&E, and it is a mouthful, there's no doubt about that.
It is.
I have about 4 or 5 focus areas that I try to work across the board as a corporation, DON, Department of Navy Corporation,
Okay.
for Mr. Gertz. One is clearly the warfare centers and labs, and really looking at warfare centers and labs corporately. So how do we operate corporately? Not so much each warfare center and lab works up their normal chain of command to the systems commands. I'm not really getting into the tactical day-to-day work, but how do we deal corporately? Are we looking at how do we collaborate across the board? How are we bringing technologies together? How are we looking for authorities that not just benefit one lab, but can be used across the board in many?
Can I pull a little thread on that?
Yeah.
So when you say warfare centers and labs,
Yep.
for those that don't know, like, what is a warfare center?
Sure. Warfare centers, there's 6, what I consider 6 warfare centers or labs primary for the Navy. So it's Naval Research Lab, which works under Office of Naval Research. There's the Naval Surface Warfare Center and Naval Undersea Warfare Center, that is under NAVC. There's the Naval Information Warfare Center, Atlantic, which is in Charleston, and then Naval Information Warfare Center, Pacific in San Diego. And then there's the Naval Air Warfare Centers, China Lake, which I know you're very familiar with.
Definitely, that's where I come from, is China Lake.
As well as Pax River, the NOC Pax River. So I work very closely with the executive directors there. And those warfare centers and labs, in my mind, they do many things. They have many customers and stakeholders, but they're out every day supporting the fleet. And the operational Navy. I grew up at a warfare center. I grew up at Corona, NSWC Corona, which is part of the Surface Warfare Center headquarters. And so I know when I was out there 30 plus years ago, many years ago, it ended up, you know, I used to ride ships. I used to go out and collect data for missile firing.
Okay.
So every warfare center and lab has a little bit of different focus area, center of excellence. But each of those labs are all focused in really bringing technology to bear, helping apply that technology to fleet problems, working with the fleet to get programs of record out there, provide in-service engineering, agent capability, run tests and testing for new products, really support the PEOs, the program executive officers, organizations that are out there, and the program managers. So when I look at the warfare centers and labs, they really cut across many capabilities, and they're really key to the efforts that we do on an everyday basis to the warfighting as well as the program managers that are out there. So really key capability for the Navy. And really trying to get, and I always talk to them when I go out to talk to warfare centers and labs, many times I talk to them that they are really the engine of innovation to the Navy. They're the ones that are really trying things out, doing things differently, looking at new authorities, looking at ways to everything from the technical side, but also how do we do contracting different? How do we use OTAs?
They're kind of challenging the norm and kind of coming up with that.
Yes.
They're inventing, but they're not just inventing technology. They're inventing new policies and new ways of doing
That's
things,
correct.
sounds like.
Yeah, and one of the reasons they can do that is one of those authorities we talked about, or I mentioned earlier, they have what's called Section 233 authority. Section 233, that's the law. And it came out, I think it was in the NDAA in 17. But what it gave the ability for the labs to do, they're called Science and Technology Reinvention Laboratories, STRLs. And that law gave them the ability to try things out out at the warfare service. Now, we don't want them trying things out on their own, right?
Sure.
But what we try to do is put out some authorities that say, hey, for hiring practices, let's see if we can go off to recruit people and actually make offers on site. That's something that we have not really done a lot of in the Navy, but as an STRL lab, reinvention lab, they can try those things. How do we do contracting a little bit different perhaps at the lab area, which gives them more flexibility to do others. So over the last 2 or 3 years, we've probably put out about 40 or 50 authorities that those labs can use, and we've seen significant savings reported back up through the system to be able to do things better, do things more efficiently, be innovative. Now, it isn't everything, and it isn't solving all problems, but we're really trying to tackle a lot of those barriers.
That's excellent. It's a really good information. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, sir, appreciate you having on.
You bet.
And thanks, community. Have a fantastic day. Thank you.